There is a hole in your lawn right now, a round opening about the width of your finger, ringed by a small horseshoe of loose dirt that something pushed up from below. And hovering over it is the largest wasp you have ever seen in your life. 2 inches long, rust-colored wings, a black and yellow body as thick as your thumb. You take 1 step toward it, and it comes straight at your face. Most people reach for the spray within the hour. Some pour gasoline down the hole. And since 2020, thousands of Americans have killed these wasps on sight, convinced they were looking at murder hornets. But here is what nobody told you. The wasp that just charged your face cannot sting you. Not because it chose not to, because it does not have a stinger. It never did. And the reason it is digging up your lawn is stranger than anything you have ever been told about it. Stay with me, because what you are about to learn will change how you look at your own yard for the rest of this summer. Before we talk about the wasp, we need to talk about what it hunts. Every July, the trees fill with the sound of annual cicadas. Most people hear that and think of summer. Arborists hear it and think about damage, because a female cicada does not simply sing and disappear. She saws a row of slits into a young twig and packs her eggs inside the wound. That twig dries out, turns brown, and snaps. Growers call it flagging. In a heavy year, you can stand under an ornamental tree and count the dead branch tips like fingers. Orchards lose fruiting wood to it. Young landscape trees lose entire leading branches. Nursery stock gets written off. And almost nobody sprays for it, because there is no practical way to spray an insect that spends years underground and then arrives in your canopy by the thousand. So here is the question. What is the most effective, completely free defense against a cicada population living directly above your house? It is the insect you were about to poison. And what she does to earn that title is the part most people refuse to believe. She starts by digging. Using her jaws to cut and her hind legs to kick the soil backward, a single female excavates a tunnel that can run 6 inches into the ground, and in loose soil, closer to 20. Off that main shaft, she carves out chambers, not 2 or 3. A finished burrow can hold 10 to 20 separate cells. Then she goes hunting. She finds a cicada in the trees, stings it once at the base of a foreleg, and the cicada goes limp. Not dead, paralyzed. And then she does the impossible part. She picks it up and flies it home. A cicada can weigh twice what she does. Let that sit for a second. Twice her own body weight, carried through the air. She often cannot gain enough altitude to fly straight there. So she climbs a tree trunk with the cicada clamped beneath her and launches, gliding down toward her burrow like a loaded aircraft. She seals 1 or 2 cicadas into each chamber with a single egg. Multiply that across the 10 to 20 cells in her tunnel. Now multiply it across every female working that same sunny bank in your yard. That is not an infestation. That is a cicada removal operation running out of your lawn for free for about 6 weeks. But the biggest lie you were told about this wasp is not about the digging. It is about which one of them is actually dangerous. Myth number 1, that aggressive one is going to sting you. The wasps that fly at your face, that hover, that body check other insects out of the air, that follow you across the yard are males. And in wasps, the stinger is a modified egg-laying organ. Males never had one. It is not that they rarely sting. They are anatomically incapable of it. Every terrifying thing that wasp is doing to you is a bluff, performed by an insect with nothing to back it up. Justin Schmidt, the entomologist who built the sting pain index by getting stung on purpose for a living, described cicada killers as gentle giants. The females do carry a real sting, and they use it on cicadas, but they are so reluctant to use it on people that most sources say it requires physically grabbing one. Myth number 2, there is a nest in my yard, and it is a colony. There is no colony. Cicada killers are solitary. There is no queen. There is no shared hive. Every female you see is running her own tunnel and raising her own young. And this is exactly why they do not attack you. A hornet or a yellowjacket will die defending a nest because that nest holds a colony's entire future. A cicada killer has nothing collective to defend. What looks like a swarm is closer to an apartment building where none of the tenants have met. If this is already changing how you see that patch of dirt, hit subscribe right now. We break down the hidden science behind the things in your yard every week. And drop a comment. Tell me honestly, have you ever sprayed one of these holes? Because there are 2 more things about this wasp that almost nobody knows. Myth number 3, it is a murder hornet. In 2019 and 2020, the northern giant hornet was found in a small corner of Washington state, and the panic went national. Extension offices from Texas to Michigan were flooded with reports. Almost every single one turned out to be a cicada killer. Native wasps were destroyed by the 1,000 across states the hornet had never come close to reaching. The northern giant hornet was never confirmed anywhere in America outside Washington. The last sighting was in 2021, and in December of 2024, Washington's Department of Agriculture officially declared it eradicated. The threat is gone. The wasps people killed by mistake were natives doing free pest control. Myth number 4, they are destroying my lawn. They are not the cause. They are the symptom. Cicada killers nest in bare, dry, sun-baked, well-drained soil with thin or missing grass. Sandy patches, slopes, the strip along a hot sidewalk. They cannot dig a thick, healthy, watered lawn, and they will not try. That bare patch existed before they arrived. They just found it. And now the detail that I still find hard to believe. When that female seals a cicada into a chamber, she is making a decision. She controls whether that egg becomes a son or a daughter, and she provisions accordingly. 1 cicada for a son, 2 or 3 for a daughter. Because a daughter will one day have to carry a cicada twice her own weight through the air, and she cannot do that unless she is fed enough as a larva to grow large enough for the job. She is not just feeding her young, she is deliberately building the next generation of hunters, 1 chamber at a time. Her sting is what makes it work. It does not kill the cicada. It shuts down its nervous system while leaving it alive, so the meat does not rot before the larva can finish eating. That larva hatches in 2 to 3 days and feeds for as little as 4 days before spinning a cocoon and sleeping through the winter underground. A venom precise enough to switch off a nervous system without ending a life is exactly the kind of compound researchers pay attention to. Now, I have to be honest with you, because this part matters. If someone in your home has a severe allergy to stings, that risk is real, and nobody should gamble with it. And if the burrows are opening up inside a sandbox or in the middle of where your children play every day, you're allowed to want them gone. But you do not need poison for that. Soak the area and keep it wet. Thicken the grass. Cicada killers abandon soil that stays damp and shaded, and they will not return to a patch that no longer suits them. You do not have to kill anything to move them along. Here is what nobody tells you. This entire thing is temporary. The adults emerge in late June or July and are dead by September. They do not overwinter above ground. They do not build anything that lasts. Within a few weeks, the holes settle, the grass grows back over the mounds, and the yard goes quiet until next summer. You were preparing for a war against something that was already scheduled to end. And in between, those adults are feeding on nectar and plant sap, carrying pollen from flower to flower like every other pollinator you have been told to protect. So maybe the real question is not whether that wasp belongs in your lawn. Maybe the question is how many things we have destroyed at the exact moment they were most useful to us, simply because they were large and loud, and we never asked what they were doing. The next time one of them comes flying at your face, look at it a little longer before you reach for anything. It is almost certainly a male. It is almost certainly bluffing. And somewhere under your feet, his sister is hauling a cicada home. If this changed how you see something you walk past every day, subscribe. That is what this channel is about, the hidden truth behind the things you were taught to fear. And drop a comment right now and tell me, what other creature do you think we have been getting completely wrong? I read every single one. See you in the next one.